To say a few words to Barb and Michael and Sarah in hopes that you will have many years to look at this, and maybe on special occasions when you wished Roger was still on this part of the planet, you might look back and know how special Roger was to all of us. And to me, he was very special. I can remember the first time I met him. It was the first, we'd only lived here for about a month. And I knew Michael because he was always at our house. We went to a parent-teacher conference at Oak Bay High, and he had a name tag on, and he kept appearing in all of the classes. And I thought, this man must have a child in my child's class. So I, being a connector too, went up, and sure enough, it was Caldwell. And we loved Mike, so we met, and we went for coffee after, and we became great friends. I can remember at that time I said, Roger, we're new here, I need to meet people, what can I do? And he said, oh, every Friday night you can stuff envelopes for Guy Dauncey's Echo News. And I thought, well, that'll be really boring, but I'll go. So he dragged me along, and it was never boring. And I remember so many people I met in those very first years stuffing recycled envelopes around the Echo News. And it was especially, I think, great to hear Guy Dauncey's partner speak today and know that some of the friends that Roger made, most of them he kept for so long. And I think I would be known in Roger's life as the person who brought the name tags. He would always call me broom pull, duck race, auction, fundraiser, whatever. And Beverly, yeah, can you bring those name tags? So I've spent the last 15 years being the thrifter that I am, looking for name tags in thrift stores, and I will never, ever see a package of name tags in a thrift store without thinking of Roger. But what I want to mostly say is that the Roger I knew, who was the great organizer, was always above everything else the proudest husband and the proudest dad I ever met. I remember when I first knew Roger, he would send me poems and artwork that Sarah had done. And he would brag about her, outright brag about her. And I remember thinking, there's not very many parents that brag about their kids like I think is all right to do. And he has always, always bragged about you to everybody. He totally saw the best in his kids and really believed in them, and told me 100 times, if he told me once, that he would be nothing, absolutely nothing without Barb. And one other little thing I want to say is that when I first met Roger, he pretended that he was an atheist. And we would have many very angry, sometimes, arguments and discussions in my backyard. And I remember after his stroke, I brought him a book to teach him how to write again with his left hand, a cursive writing book. And he gave me the Mary Baker book. And I have that book, and whenever I look at it, I am struck by how full Roger's life was after his stroke, and that the Roger 2 was really even better than the Roger 1, which I didn't think would ever be possible. But just because you're such a special family, I wanted to stand here today and just give you all my love, because I'll never be able to live my life the same as I lived it before I met Roger. Thank you so much for sharing him and all of your family times. Lots of love, Beverly.